I don't think they can be helped. Like I said, you guys were like a pioneer, right? So there was no rules back then. Now there's like the business.
It was the Wild West, and you didn't have any
figure
reference.
it out, man. That's what it was. So people definitely saw the gold mine.
Oh yeah. Other people did.
Yeah,
and they were able to take advantage of people that did not.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just probably specifically artists, right?
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, there was talk amongst the YouTube community about you guys working with a Disney executive. Maybe he was your manager or something?
Yeah. He started off as our manager, and he became the president of the company. I don't want to get into too much detail.
Up until now, or I mean, when the company dissolved?
He was still there. I think he left about 6 months before I did, for his own personal reasons. Yeah.
Got it.
Well, just going back to kind of what you said. So there seems to be like a lot of different pros and cons to being like a legendary OG YouTuber, you know? Like one of the big cons is being taken advantage of, clearly.
Right, yeah. Back then when no one knew what was going on.
Yeah. So I guess
we
maybe
all have that.
If there's more pros and cons that you wanted to explore on, or maybe in comparison of like the YouTubers now that they haven't, that I guess a lot of people can thank you for in a way because you had to deal with those hardships.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I feel like YouTubers now honestly have it better in every regard except for the oversaturation in the market. There's so much more competition. And really that's the only downside that I see. Maybe there's more that I don't see because I'm kind of disconnected from that now. But I feel like back in the early days, it was figuring things out on your own. It was the lack of money in the market. There were obviously less viewers on the market to have content even be viewed by. And brands didn't take it seriously. Companies didn't take you seriously. And I feel like all of that has changed.
Yep.
And the only thing that's become difficult is that now there's just so many people that are part of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a big difference too is like, back in the day, there was. I mean, we say there's a lot less people, but there was still a lot of people.
Oh right? Yeah, I mean, considerably.
But I feel like back in the day, it's like if somebody made something awesome, eventually people would find that person.
Right.
I feel like now you got to be with you got to get some kind of hookup. Like you got to be collabing, unless you're like magnificent. Like you have to like be with an MCN, or you got to like be friends with somebody. There's always like you got to have like connections and collab and do all these things where like back in the days just make good stuff and then eventually it'll pay off.
Yeah, it used to be my advice to people. They'd be like, how do I get my content? Like, how do I create a fan base? And I'd always be like, just make good stuff. Focus on making good stuff. Don't try to get fans. They'll come to you, and eventually people will find your stuff when you make good enough stuff.
Yeah.
Can't say that now.
Nope, that doesn't. I mean, sadly,
yeah.
Like it used to be like just follow your dreams, and now it's like no, do the math. Like, follow the algorithm.
There's like 21 days worth of content uploaded every minute on YouTube or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah,
now
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just insane.
And I don't know if YouTube like wants to admit it or not, but I feel like YouTube has become just a gaming and music platform. Like the things that are on trending, half the time it's just like music.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was always like that or not, but I feel like it's gone that direction.
Do you use the trending tab? Do you actually
I'll check
find
it just because
there?
I want to. No, not really. I'll check it because I'm curious.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, but it doesn't. I don't understand it. Like there'll be a video with like 10,000 views on it.
No one understands how trending works. I think it's some combination of the speed at which viewers are coming in and the interaction they're having with the content, and also where they're coming from. I don't understand the exact algorithm though.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
I think the algorithm is always changing based off of the advertisers and different times. It's always changing. We're always chasing the algorithm.
Yeah, and you never know what is gonna work, really. You know, the best way to do things now is just like try to get an audience to stay with your video as long as you can. That's the only thing you can do.
So it goes back to what you guys were saying: make good content.
Make good content.
And just keep going.
Yeah, but it's different now. It's not just make good content, but it's make captivating content that people feel like they can't click away from, because they're constantly, on that page, there's always at least one other video that can be seen on the screen at once, unless it's in full screen.
Yeah.
And that video is always enticing them, and you're battling to keep people watching instead of clicking that other person's thumbnail.
Right. But that's the thing too. like you need to have a really good title and thumbnail.
Yes,
so that they click away from someone else's video to go to yours.
And also, the title and thumbnail is all that really matter if you think about it in this context, and your video content is just there to prove that it was worth that click. It's almost backwards now.
Exactly. Yep. Well, and that's the secrets of YouTube. Thanks
That's
to
sad.
Anthony.
Well, I want to explore this a little bit more because you decided to step away, make your own content. You know, you had millions of people's eyes on you.
Yeah.
Where I'm sure you felt the pressure of like your former bosses looking over your shoulder. Now you have a lot of eyes looking over your shoulder, but you do have this open creativity. How much did you play around the algorithm and stuff, or were you more strictly like, no, I want to do what I want to do? Like, how do you play the game? Like, what's your mindset
Now?
Yeah, tackling it.
Initially, I didn't even know what the algorithm wanted from me. I just made content when I first left. And I experimented with a million different types of videos. And the thing that stuck was content that was a little bit longer and appealed to a general audience that didn't necessarily have to know who I was to view it. So then I started making more of that, and that eventually evolved into the I Spent a Day With series, which is what I just shot with you today, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that really works because it's captivating in the sense that it's a subject that's easily digestible. People are like, oh, I want to learn more about whatever it is, legendary YouTubers or, pro cosplayers or flat earthers or ASM artists, and they stick around because the way that I edit it is, I think it's captivating, or my editor is extremely good, and then the content's long enough that the YouTube algorithm rewards you for that watch time.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of a formula.
Well,
now.
yeah, for sure. And you have to, unfortunately, I tried to fight it for the longest time.
Really?
I've
You just
been
make a short content?
I'm like, no, I'm sticking to what I grew up with. And like it, but you have to to a certain degree.
If you want to be able to keep an audience.
Keep doing it as a career, right?
Right.
Like you have to find that balance. And I was always so against it, but I finally got to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm willing to give, because there's no point if no one's seeing it, right?
Yeah. And it's a hard position to be in, because you're like, I want to make the content that I like. That's why I started. That's why I want to keep going. That's what gets me up in the morning. But at the same time, you want to be able to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to keep making content at all if people aren't watching it.
Exactly.
So you have to find a happy marriage between, this is what my audience wants, this is what the general public wants when they find my videos, and also this is what I like to do. And it's a game that you have to play to figure out what it is that you like versus what's going to get people
Tips
to come.
from a legendary YouTuber. Go check out his go check out his series, legendary YouTube. What was it?
I Spent a Day With Legendary YouTubers.
You know what?
The one you're in.
I know. I just keep forgetting the name.
Nigahiga.